to our respected lecturer, Mr. Moorthy. Okay, today to fulfill the requirement of this course, my group and I will be presenting on the third task, the oral presentation on the chosen teaching kit. Okay, so my name is Nur Mizana binti Muhammad Suhaimi.
And my index number is 20202124000014.
Okay, so I will start. Okay, now this is the selected teaching and learning kit for our presentation today. And the title of this activity is Where's My Pen? Okay, so this is the learning objective of this activity. So by the end of the lesson, students will be able to write at least 2 correct sentences using verbs and nouns. Okay, so these are the materials needed for this activity. So we will be needing flashcards of verbs and nouns. So I have this here. We have these 6 flashcards, and also we'll be needing copies of book entitled I Feel Sad by Brian Moses. These are the bibliography book that we have chosen. We have 6 copies, and we also have the sticky notes of yellow and pink colored. So these are the materials needed for the activity. Okay, so now let's start the activity. So the first step is teacher writes nouns and verbs on the board and then asks students what are they. Then teacher shows flashcard showing examples of each category for students' understanding.
Okay, at this step, teacher will first write nouns and verbs on the board and ask students what they think that nouns and verbs are. And then students will give their own interpretation, ideas or opinions and understanding on these two. And teacher will give them explanation on what nouns and verbs really are. And then we proceed to show images on flashcards. For example, noun, teacher will show flashcards of cat, bag and book, and also on verbs we show swimming, reading book and crying. So during this step, students will understand the differences and also the meaning of nouns and verbs and what are the examples of these two. And this is really important as to help students to do the next step of this activity.
Okay, so this is how I'll begin my class. Good morning, students. How are you? Okay, very good. Okay, now today we are going to learn a very fun activity and very fun things. What are they? Okay, we are going to learn about nouns and verbs. Nouns and verbs. So, what is nouns? What is nouns? Yes? Nouns is a thing. Very good. What else? Yes? Noun is a person. Oh, very good. Okay, so class, nouns is a word that refers to a person, a thing, and a place, or even an animal. So those kind of things, we call them nouns. So what are the examples of nouns I want to share with you today? And these are the examples of nouns. The first one, cat. Cat. Cat is a noun. Why? Because it's an animal. Very good. The second one, we have book. Book. Book is also a noun. Why? Yes, because book is a thing. And the last one, we have bag. Bag. And bag is a noun because, very good, because book, a bag is also a thing. Okay, so these are the examples of nouns. Very good. Now, second one, what is verbs? Okay, what is verbs? What? A name? No, verb is not a name. Okay, class, verbs is a word that used to express actions. What is actions? Actions is something that we do. For example, what I'm doing right now, I'm talking. It's verb. Yes, very good. Okay, so what are the examples of verbs? Okay, the first one we have swimming. Swimming. Swimming is a verb, right? Very good. Second one we have crying. Crying. Crying is also a verb. Are you sure? Yes, it's a verb. And the last one we have reading book. Reading book. Reading book is also a verb. Very good. Okay, and then the second step is teacher divides students into groups of 5 and each group is given a copy of the book entitled I Feel Sad, and teacher reads the story with the students together and asks students what they feel about the story.
Okay, at this step, teacher will divide students into groups. So, if there are like 30 of them, then there will be 6 groups with 5 of them in a group. And then each group will be given a copy of the book, and they will read the story together with the teacher. And then the teacher will also ask students on what they feel about the story and to encourage them to speak out, to share what they think, and also to share their experiences regarding the theme of the book.
So this is what I'll be doing in the class. Okay, students. Okay, today we are going to read a very interesting book. Yes, I Feel Sad. Have you read this book? No. Okay, it's fine. We are going to read this together. But before that, I want all of you to sit in a group. Okay, sit in groups. I want only 5 in a group. Yes. Move now. You can move your chair. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, now everyone, sit down. Okay, now I will give this to every group. Okay, now everyone get this book, right? Okay, let's read this together. Now let's look at this page. Okay, I feel sad. When I feel sad, I feel like a flower that needs to be watered, a rainbow that has lost its colors, a clown who cannot smile. When I feel sad, I lie in bed. I do not want to talk to anyone. I hide in the playhouse. I hug my teddy bear. There are many things that make me feel sad. Okay, now, tell me what you think about this story. This boy feels sad. So, what did he do when he feels sad? He go to sleep. Yeah, very good. He go to lie on his bed, right? So he go to sleep. What else he do? Mm-hmm. You don't want to talk to anyone. I want to ask you, do you ever feel sad? You did. Why? Mm-hmm. Because your mom scold you. Okay, some more. Mm-hmm. You watch a sad movie. Okay, some more. Your cat died. Oh, okay. Okay, now you feel sad, right? You can say there are many reasons you feel sad. So me as well, I also feel sad. For example, I feel sad because I miss my family and I can't see them. So I feel sad. And it's okay to feel sad. Because why? Because it's a natural feeling. Everyone can feel sad, right? You can feel sad, but you should try to find something that won't make you feel sad. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Then each group starts to read through the story and circle the verbs and nouns as they go. Students circle the verbs with green colored pencils and nouns with purple colored pencil.
Okay, and during this step, as students started to go through the story, they will be asked to circle the verbs and nouns, just like what they have learned at the first step. So during this step, they will be able to implement the understanding that they have gained from the first step at the earlier phase of the activity, which is the understanding on verbs and noun by finding them in the book and to circle them using colored pencils. This step is really important as teacher will be able to know whether students understood what they have learned during the first step.
So this is what I will do in the class. Okay, now students, now we have understand the story. Okay, what I want you to do is, okay, just now we learn about what? About verbs and nouns, right? Verbs and nouns. So what I want you to do is, I want you to look at the story and then you circle the verb and nouns that you find from the story. No, it's not hard. It's easy, right? Yeah, your friend said it easy. It's easy. Okay, so now I want you to take two colors, two pencil colors, one green colored and the second one purple. Yes, and I want you to circle the verb with green colored and the noun with purple colored pencil. Okay, very good. Okay, now I'll give you 10 minutes. Okay, after 10 minutes, I will check together. Okay, okay, now you can start. Okay, that's all from my part. I'll pass the floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, a very good day I wish to Mr. Moorthy. My name is Nabila Hanis, Pdppr Samat. Index number 2020-2124-000009. So I will continue on the next procedures or steps for the activity of our selected teaching kit as presented by my teammate Nur Mizana previously. Okay, so the first step for this activity is where students are given two sticky notes. One is yellow and another one is pink, is in pink color. Okay, so next, once everyone receives two sticky notes, teacher will give instruction. Teacher will instruct them to write one verb and one noun. Okay, one verb and another one is one noun. So the verb should be written on the yellow sticky note, while the noun should be written on the pink sticky note. Okay, so the rationale of distributing, the rationale of giving two different colors for the students to be clear in understanding the instructions. So that's why we give two different colors. So the students will be clear that verb should be written on yellow note and the noun should be written on the pink sticky note. Okay. So at this phase, students already know what verbs and nouns are because they already did an introductory activity previously in understanding the concept of nouns and verbs when they were asked to circle verbs and nouns that they found in the storybook. All right, so now they are required to identify either verbs and nouns and write them on the sticky notes. So at this point, students are encouraged to be very creative in choosing their verb and noun. And those verbs and nouns can be those that are available around them. I mean, it can be in terms of things. For instance, for now, it can be in terms of items that are available around them, such as pen, pencil, rubber, ruler, door. And for the verb, it can be writing, reading, sleeping. But apart from that, the verbs and nouns can also be anything that they can think of at the moment. That means it doesn't have to be the verbs and nouns do not have to be things or actions that they can observe at that moment. Okay, so The rationale of this step is for the students to be independent in exploring a subject matter, which in this case is the verb and noun, using their prior knowledge on that. So as mentioned earlier, they already know what nouns and verbs are. So this step will enables them to think on their own, to identify and figure out the nouns and verbs on their own. Okay, so next step. Okay, the fifth step is where teachers require students to walk around the classroom. Okay, so just now they just sit on their desk and write the nouns and verbs. Well, now they are required to walk around the classroom and look at what other students have written on their sticky notes, right? So they have to walk around and look at their friends' nouns and verbs, look at their friends' sticky notes. Okay, so for this part, students need to approach their classmates and exchange their verbs and nouns. So they need to exchange approach their friends and share their nouns and verbs and vice versa. Okay, so from here, students are encouraged to communicate among one another, and therefore it helps them to build good relationships among them, which is a very important aspect for their socialization. Okay, so not only that, exchanging their nouns and verbs will increase their knowledge on that particular matter. So, for instance, before walking around the classroom and talking to their classmates, they may have around 3 to 4 vocabularies in their mind at the time. However, after talking to their friends and exchange the nouns and verbs, and by exchanging their sticky notes, they may have increased their vocabularies to 8 to 10 nouns and verbs, for example. Okay, so next, teacher will ask these students to choose one friend, to choose one classmate to be their pair. Okay, this is for the next step. And this part enables students to identify their friends, and those who do not have close friends, this will be their opportunity to make one. Okay, so we move on to the next step. Okay, so sixth step requires students to use their pairs verb with their noun and the other way around. Okay, so this is the preparation before continuing to the next step. So each pair must look at each other's nouns and verbs and try to find the best ones to match to one another. So in case of no appropriate match is possible, students may refer to their teacher. Okay, so for instance, as shown in the slide, there is Adam and also Ame. So Adam's notes written with walk, the verb is walk and the noun is pencil. While Amir's sticky notes, the pink notes is written back for noun and rhyme for the verb. So now Adam and Ame needs to exchange and match match with their friends, their pairs notes, their verb and noun. Okay, for instance, Adam's verb is walk, while Amir's noun is back. So they need to match and see if they are possible to be matched. All right, okay. And like mentioned earlier, if it happens to have inappropriate match, students may refer to their teacher for reference, for assistance. All right. So this step basically trains students to think of the meaning of their partner's verb and nouns and come up with the best possible match. So previously they have come up with their own verb and nouns, and then they have look and exchange the verbs and nouns, and now they have to match and think of whether the noun and verbs are possible to be matched.
Okay, thank you Nabila for the presentation just now. Alright, so hello everyone. My name is Mariam Aqmaliah binti Muhammad Adenan. Index number 202012400008. Okay, so I shall be continuing on the presentation with the 7th, 8th, and 9th steps of the activity. Okay, so for the 7th steps, students are required to write sentences and write them on their sticky notes together with their pair's name. Okay, so for these steps, students are required to write two sentences based on the nouns and verbs that they have written. For instance, in the classroom, I shall say it like this. Okay, students, now with your pair, please write a complete sentence using the verb and noun that you have written. So since there are two verbs and two nouns altogether, you are required to write two sentences. Okay? Do you understand? Can you do that for me? Anybody has any question? Okay, very good. So you have 10 minutes to do that. You shall start right now. Okay. So that's the seventh activity step. Okay, now we shall move on to the eighth step, which is every pair chooses one favorite sentences and share it to the class by writing it on the board. Okay, so for this one, I will be instructing them by saying it like this. Okay, great everyone. Well done for being able to write the two sentences that I requested just now. So now, what you need to do is you have to pick one sentence from the two sentences that you have written. Pick one favorite sentence and write it on the board. Okay? Understand? Can you do that? Okay, very good. Okay, so that's the step for for the 8 steps. Okay, so now for the ninth step, teachers check students' sentences on the board and ask students to correct the mistakes that they have found in the sentences together. Okay, so for this one, since it's a pair work, they need to check their answers on their own. So for the previous task, the teacher has taught the students on how to check their mistakes in a sentence that they have written. So for this time around, the students need to do it themselves. Okay, so for instance, in the classroom, I shall say it like this. Good job, everyone. Thank you for writing your sentences on the board. So now, let us all check the answers together. And then I want you, students, you, to check your friends' answers and see if there's any mistakes in the sentences that they have written. Okay? Okay, so that's all for the activities. Okay, so now let's move on with the rationale of the activity. Students are able to learn about the verbs and nouns from the flashcard displayed, hence having a clearer images and understanding of what they're learning. Okay? So the second rationale of the activity is students can use their creativity in choosing verbs and nouns and to be inventive to create sentences from them. Okay? So now Nabila will continue on with the second last and last rationale of the activity. Thank you so much.
Okay. Another overall rationale of the activity is that this activity allows students to be collaborative and cooperative as they work in pairs. Okay, so this is very important, especially in fostering the 21st century skills, which in this context is communication and collaboration. And apart from that, students can be independent in finding the correct verbs and nouns listed in the story by themselves and based on their understanding. So this is where students are trained to think critically and become leaders of their own learning, as highlighted in the new pedagogies for deep learning. Okay, so I guess that brings us to the end. So thank you so much for your interest and attention.